Hi everyone, this is Bluegrass Dreams and Seams and my name is Cheryl. Welcome back all my sewing friends. I'm so happy you've decided to join me again today. Today's episode is entirely dedicated to the restoration of the christening gown I was given last Sunday to restore. It is ready to go back to the family. There are a few things I want to point out about it in this video. I won't be talking about anything else. I am wearing a new shirt that I just made. I am so happy with how this product, I've never been disappointed by the product. It's called Vintage Textile Soak, and I will leave a link where it can be purchased. I did find a store in the United States that does sell it. It is not sold on Amazon. There are similar products sold on Amazon, but I can't vouch for how well they perform. I can only vouch for this one. Now, the vintage gown, I soaked both pieces. The first soak was a 24-hour soaking. I put 2 tablespoons and about 2 gallons of water. I used a kind of tepid temperature water. It wasn't cold, it wasn't hot, it just tepid. And let them both soak for the first time 24 hours. I took the slip out because I was satisfied with the degree it was. It really was not stained that bad. It was the front of that gown. If you'll remember, it was pretty yellow. I want to sort of picture here of that gown and what it looked like. Now first we're going to talk about the slip. Like I said, it's very white now. It did brighten it up. It was white before, but here's that lace at the bottom. Now I want you to take note too, this lace here, this edging, has quite a bit of white above it. So this is a pretty deep lace that's been used here. I'm thinking 2.5 inches, and then there's the insertion, and pin tucks and pin tucks. Now the part I know everybody really wants to see, because you know that lace was really stained bad, and so I'm really pleased. I did put this through 2 soakings. So when I did the first 24 hours, I put it in a fresh soaking bath water with new soak, 2 tablespoons again, 2 gallons of water, and soaked it for at least a day and a half, maybe 2 days. I can't remember exactly when I started it, but here you go. There's that. You can see how white. Okay, so let's talk about this gown. This lace here, you can see how that is, she's made this casing, and I know it's a casing because if I pull on this string and I'm holding this, it'll actually draw that up. The sleeve is actually in 2 pieces, not 1. There's an upper sleeve that's a little bigger than the lower sleeve, but there's a seam here and there's a seam here. So 2 pieces. This cuff, remember I told you to take note about how deep that lace is? Well, this looks like, and now I'm almost wanting to take it back. I think this part is the lower part of that scalloped edge lace, and then this part here they just created like a little band around that lower sleeve, because this part is gathered into this part, but the sleeve is not gathered into this part. All right, so on the back I made a discovery. 1, 2, 3 ties. Yes, there are ties in the middle of these 2, which I knew about already. I did not see these before. I see them now. I don't know where they were hiding before. There were 3 places I had to repair in addition to what all I had already done. The lace was coming apart or separated from this casing here. That I took care of before the soaking. After the soaking, there was a little tear somewhere in here. It was actually on top of one of these little embroidery pieces right here. And I just stitched it kind of into that embroidery so that it would hold really well. The other one was on this sleeve area next to this little band that was made, so that was easily hid. But the one that was harder for me to deal with was on the back. There was a little tiny hole starting to form, and oh my, I can't even find it, and I'm the one who fixed it. There was a little tiny hole starting to form right in here, so I took a little square of press-on interfacing. Now I realize when this washes a little bit, it will probably separate and come off, but I did try to stitch it just a tiny little bit, but it's not going to hold with just stitching. I didn't want to pull it up too much because then it's going to look like something's been done there. But I just felt like this would help hold that a little better. So that is on there to keep that from running. The tucks, we know that there's back pieces that were cut. There's this one front piece that was cut. There are tucks that run the full length of both. So these shoulder seams were sewn in before the tucks were created. And the reason I know that is the tucks are free at the join. We know that this is one full piece. Where you see the gathers, that's where the skirt begins. There's one full panel for the front. There's a full panel that was used for the back. However, they did split that because it has a seam that goes down, starting right here all the way down. So that panel was split in half. We know, I told you that the sleeves have two parts, upper and lower. This is gathered into this. This was gathered and attached, and then I think this casing was created afterwards. Not sure how they did that casing, but it's a beautiful, beautiful gown. They did an awesome job, and it was my pleasure to do this for the family. I really enjoyed it. I am going to say that I did rely heavily on information that I had learned from Martha Pullen when she was doing projects where she studied antique garments and how they were put together, their construction. And she had put out some articles in restoring and repairing antique garments. I think she had asked a couple of museums how they went about doing that. But excellent resource there for us to have all her archive. Any museum, of course, is a good resource. I am honored that they trusted me enough with their gown to do this. I don't know how many generations it is. It's somewhere on like number 5 or 6. 1850, and then 20, 30 years later, you do another one, and, you keep going. You kind of get an idea in your head that here we are. They're getting ready to use it again. This couple has twins, and so one gown is coming from one side of the family, and this gown will be coming from this side of the family. So the twins will both be wearing gowns that are fairly old, been in the families for quite a number of years, and I just think that speaks volumes as to how careful people have been with things. I will recommend she does not put this back in a plastic bag, but try to find a box of some kind. I have not been able to find one that I could get here quickly. I needed it to be here this weekend, and I couldn't get it by this weekend, so I'll give her some sources, and hopefully she'll source that out, and then we can get together and I can show her how to roll this fabric. Don't fold, roll, so that it's around for many, many more years, and hopefully somewhere down the road, if it should need tender loving care again, there'll be someone out there that knows what they're doing and will be able to provide that for the family. Maybe even a family member could do it. But I will tell her if something should happen and it gets stained again, just give it immediately back to me. I'll be glad to soak it again for her and get all that out before we put it away until another family member is born and they need the gown again. So this is Cheryl with Bluegrass Dreams and Seams. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.